What if I told you Duryodhana wasn't the villain? Not completely. Because the man history remembers as evil never saw himself that way. In fact, he believed he was the rightful king. And if you look closely, you might start questioning everything you've been told. Stay with me till the end, because this story is not as simple as right versus wrong. We all grew up hearing one version. Pandavas, the righteous heroes. Duryodhana, the arrogant villain. But Mahabharata was never that simple. It was not a story of good versus evil. It was a story of perspectives. And Duryodhana's perspective is the one most people ignore. Let's start with the question no one asks. Why did Duryodhana refuse to give up the kingdom? Was it just greed or something deeper? From his point of view, he was the son of the ruling king. He grew up in the palace. He was trained as the heir. And suddenly, he was told to share it all. Not with strangers, but with cousins he believed had no claim stronger than his own. To him, this wasn't injustice. This was protection. Protection of what he believed was his birthright. Here's something interesting. Duryodhana never pretended. He didn't smile and plot behind your back. He didn't hide his intentions. If he hated you, you knew it. If he challenged you, he did it openly. In a world full of strategy and hidden moves, he was direct, brutally honest. And strangely, that makes him different. But the strongest argument in his favor is something people rarely talk about: loyalty. When the world mocked Karna, Duryodhana stood beside him, not for advantage, not for politics, but because he saw worth where others saw status. He didn't ask Karna for proof. He gave him respect. He gave him a kingdom. He gave him dignity. And Karna never forgot that. Ask yourself honestly, how many people would do that? Now here's where it gets uncomfortable, because the Pandavas were not perfect either. The dice game happened. Choices were made. Strategies were used that bent the idea of fairness. And suddenly, the line between right and wrong doesn't look so clear anymore. Maybe, just maybe, this was never about heroes and villains. But let's not ignore the truth. Duryodhana had flaws, big ones. His ego would not let him step back. His pride would not let him compromise. Even when peace was possible, he chose war. And that choice changed everything. Because sometimes being strong is not about holding on. It's about knowing when to let go. So was Duryodhana right? No. But was he completely wrong? Maybe not. Maybe he wasn't a villain. Maybe he was a man who refused to lose, even when losing was the wiser choice. So tell me honestly, was Duryodhana evil or just misunderstood? Because sometimes the difference between a hero and a villain is just the side you choose to listen to. Let me know what you think.